Welcome to the inaugural episode of The Brief, where we break down the important policy issues affecting our business community, whether at the state, local, or federal level. With me today, I have Bob Paulson. He's the Executive Director of the Coastal Bend Business Association. Welcome, Bob.
Well, thank you, Ginny. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you again for agreeing to do this. This is obviously my very first podcast.
Absolutely.
So you have the
delighted.
honor
I'm
of
thrilled.
being my very first guest.
Excellent.
And we've talked a lot, and I often rely upon your expertise on many issues. But the big issue of the day, I think, facing all business, but also facing industry, is water. And I know that you've been in the thick of it since, 12 years, 14 years?
Yeah, 12 years.
Who's counting?
Yeah, 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Who's counting? Time flies when you're having fun, right?
It does. But you're right. It's a critical issue. So
It is. So I guess, let's at some point talk a little bit about Desal, but I'd like to maybe start off with the groundwater discussion, because that was kind of the top of mind at City Council yesterday, and it's one that I think people are starting to become more familiar with and hearing more about.
Sure.
So will industry be purchasing some of that water, or is that mostly just for...
Yeah, well, my understanding right now is that any water that industry uses that comes from any of the groundwater projects that are currently under consideration and may be developed would be through the normal pathways, right? Mm-hmm. Through either CCW or the San Pat Municipal Water District. Now there are some efforts where they're looking at their own groundwater wells, but I'm not aware of anything that's quite as involved as the projects that we're talking about, either the Evangeline Water groundwater project or the one that was brought up yesterday at City Council involving the Rochelle property.
Right on. Okay. Wastewater reuse has been also top of mind at council, and some great projects that have finally come online. I know that have been in the works for many years.
Yeah, effluent reuse is one of those things that, again, goes back to the very beginning of my time with what was then known as Port Industries, the Coastal Bend Industry Association, all the way back in 2013. It's been an idea that really was waiting for the time to be right, and although you could argue that, it's right. The time is right now because we are in a difficult situation, and we have got to make use of every source of water that we can get our hands on. But it's been a long time. It's got its own issues. As everybody's well aware, effluent doesn't come out of the wastewater treatment plant as potable drinking water. So you've got, and here in Corpus Christi, we've got 6 wastewater treatment plants. And so, it's a combination of factors on how much water comes out of a wastewater treatment plant. Where is that wastewater treatment plant located relative to a plant that might be interested in developing the infrastructure, the pipeline and pump stations from that wastewater treatment plant to the facility. And then you've got to factor in the quality of the effluent itself, because right out of the wastewater treatment plant, it is not of sufficient quality to use in the industrial processes, and so it needs some kind of cleanup, usually through filtration or reverse osmosis. And so those factors need to be balanced, and up until the current time, it really had not been all that feasible economically. But obviously, right now we're in a very difficult situation, and so people are making decisions based on more than just the economics of the situation. So but those are really good news developments, I think, for everybody, and it will certainly relieve the pressure on the potable water system, which will benefit everybody. So really happy to see those moving forward.
That's great news. So you are sitting on the Conservation Plan Committee, as I understand it.
That is correct.
Does that have anything to do with the other C word, curtailment?
The other C word. Yeah, curtailment. No, right now it does not.
Okay.
The Water Conservation Plan Committee is focused on reviewing and providing advice to council, well, through staff, on the wastewater conservation plan, right? So the wastewater conservation plan is required by TCEQ and maybe Water Development Board, I'm not sure, but one of those. It's a required plan by the state, and they're on a 5-year cycle, and it's time to renew that plan, and so that's what that team is focusing on. So the staff, city staff, has had a draft plan developed, and that plan's out for review now with the committee members, and we're all reading through it and putting our notes together on what we like and what we think should be adjusted or improved or whatever.
I did notice that yesterday at council, some of the council members were suggesting that perhaps restaurants should stop serving complimentary water. Is that a realistic recommendation? Is that something our business owners need to be thinking about?
I didn't catch yesterday's meeting, so I guess I'll ask you a follow-up question
Okay.
first. I mean, like that, just not provide water upon request, like that it's something that you have to pay for, like a drink.
Or either pay for it or at least have to ask for it rather than it just
Yeah, I think
appearing.
I think that's something that in the water conservation plan, really, that's an item I think that's already in there. I think by city ordinance we have there's a practice in there that says that, or provision in there that says that restaurants only give out water upon request, right? You don't just automatically get water for sitting down at the table, because if you don't like water and you're not going to drink it, then it just goes right down the drain. So,
Right.
But I think that provision already exists, and so based on my read of the conservation plan, the big and with all of the other issues kind of like swirling around the whole water discussion conversation that we've been having for years now. Communication is key, and there's a lot of really good stuff that's in that plan. And the key thing that needs to happen is that we really have got to, put a full court press on our full court press to get the word out to people, because I think everybody wants to cut back, in the immediate term, cut back as much as possible on the water that they use,
Right.
and then in the longer term, that really is kind of the area, the time frame that we're looking at with the water conservation plan, right? Not immediate cutbacks to reduce use. That's something that's really kind of more aligned with the drought contingency plan and water use reduction activities. But these are longer term actions that help us make better use, more efficient use of the water supply that we've got, so that it will last longer over the long run, right? And reduce the amount of capital investment that you need to make to constantly bring on more water supplies. It's adjusting the demand that way, but in a much more gradual way. And so, but you constantly have to remind people of those practices that help help us not waste water, right?
Right.
Just pour it down the drain unused.
Right on. Well, I guess it's a little bit less work for our wait staff and bus boys and gals. If they don't have to schlep those glasses around. Saves money on dishwashing. So I guess.
Yeah, a lot of places do ask, like, what would you like to drink? And I usually say just water, but I have been at a couple of restaurants lately where the water appears, right? You sit down, the water appears, and so then I'm like, oh, hey, I guess I want to drink this because I don't want it to go to waste.
Yes, stay hydrated.
And that's right. Hydration is good. It's good for your body. It's good for your skin. It's good for everything. So it's like,
Right
drink the water. If somebody puts a glass of water in front of you, make sure you drink it for a lot of reasons.
Yes. So there's an important city council meeting coming up the last week of February, I believe, where they're going to be making another big decision on Desal.
Yeah. So on the 24th, that's when the Corpus Christi Desal partners are going to be back presenting with staff, I presume, to council on the results of their multi-month effort to reimagine the Inner Harbor Desal project in a way that gets the overall cost ideally within the box of funding that's already been identified,
Right.
but certainly closer to that box. And if it needs to be slightly above that range, there's a really good reason why it needs to be, a compelling reason.
Right.
So they're all there. I don't know what they're calling it. Price certain, I think, might be the term they're using, but they want to come back and have an estimate going. This is what it's going to cost. And then, based on the results of that, the council will decide to either say, direct staff to do a contract, or they'll say, no, enough is enough, we're done. So I personally am optimistic. I think that it's well within the realm of the possible that there's a very good answer that comes back.
I am feeling
Very doable.
much more optimistic than I was a few months ago, that's for sure.
I think it's very doable.
So we'll just put a pin on that, the water issue for now. Are there some other issues that CBIA is interested in?
Oh, there's a ton that we're interested in. Now, do we have time to really focus our attention on them like we would want to, like I would want to? That's a different question. So we're always interested in, there's 4 things that really occupy my time and really engage the group on a constant, everyday basis. And it's water, first and foremost, but then air quality, Bay and estuary health, and workforce development. Those are kind of the 4 critical components here in the Coastal Bend.
Agree.
Not only important to industry, but also important to the broader community. And really what we're about is to be good neighbors and responsible corporate citizens in the region. And so those are the things that every day, there's a longer list of things, but those 4 every single day. And quite honestly, I start feeling guilty because, it's like, thank God we've got programs that we support, like the Bays and Estuaries program and the Air Quality Partnership. And we have institutions, again, that we support, like Del Mar College, the Craft Training Center, Workforce Solutions, and those entities that can specifically focus on those other items, because quite frankly, every day is a water day.
Yeah.
At CBIA. It's pretty good. Every day is a water day at CBIA.
Bumper sticker.
Boom.
All right, so I just want to end on my favorite project and yours. People probably don't know that in your spare time, you sit on the Nueces County Board of Park Commissioners and have the distinct pleasure of guiding many, many public works projects on our area beaches. So
yeah. Well, thank you for remembering. Yeah, the Coastal Parks Board. I mean, it's a great group. I've been on that board now for 11 years, I think.
yeah,
Great. I mean, I live out on Padre Island, and I was in the Coast Guard for 26 years and always around the ocean. And, went to high school in Hawaii, beach bum. I mean, I just love that.
Right.
And so, I mean, that just fits right in. So, yeah, we do get to work on a lot. We're blessed. We get a lot of support from the Commissioner's Court on projects that we got. But, I mean, I know the one project that's on everybody's mind is Bob Hall Pier. That has been a very long haul. For a lot of reasons that we don't have time to go into on the podcast. Invite me back. I'll tell you more about all of the issues that we've had to grapple with, from budget to design to materials to labor availability and scheduling and all the rest of it. But we are done with the pier. We still got work to do on the concession space. That would control the access, and then on the restaurant itself. That we've still got work to do. But the pier itself is done, and word is being circulated. I got a notice from Scott at the Coastal Parks and from Commissioner Chesney that the grand opening ribbon cutting will be held Tuesday the 24th. At 11 o'clock out at Bob Hall Pier.
excellent.
And for the first 90 days, everybody has free access to the pier. You can go and walk on it, check it out, explore for the first 90 days. And then at that point, it's going to be placed into normal operation, and there'll be a nominal charge to access and use the pier from that point forward. So Yeah, the 24th is a big day.
It is.
Going to be out there cutting a ribbon, and then going to jump in my truck and head into town and catch the presentation on the Coastal or Corpus Christi Desal Partners and Inner Harbor Desal.
Excellent.
Big day.
Yes, very busy day. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm honored that I'm the first guest. This is fantastic. Really enjoyed myself. I hope you invite me back.
I will.
All right.
You know too
Thanks for
much.
having me.